second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
93.7 The Ticket. Fox KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: fog and drizzle expected throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies with a high around 47. Tonight, mainly clear with patchy fog possible, a low near 30. And tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning and mainly sunny for the afternoon. You'll see a high around 52. I'm meteorologist Kyle Butler from 93.7 The Ticket and ticketfm.com.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys. You'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
In every office, there's two types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
Hi, it's Joel Norman, the voice of your Lincoln Stars hockey team. Tune in to 93.7 The Ticket to hear the latest on the Stars with myself, head coach Rocky Russo, and special player guests.
If you're sick of catering from the same places every month, it's time to switch things up. Mulberry Barbecue is perfect for business lunches and dinners, family gatherings, holiday parties, wedding receptions, rehearsal dinners, and so much more. Delivery and full service options are available, and they can cater for anything from 10 people to 500 people. Call them at 402-937-7114 to look at their menu options and get your catering booked today. Mulberry Barbecue, located at 11th and Cornhusker Highway.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, Jay Foreman, DP Austin Norman. We're the Old School crew coming at you live 1040 O Street on this wet and rainy, kind of gloomy day. A couple days before we turn the clock officially to 2025. We are brought to you by the Mercado, the Certified Piedmontese, Special Ingredients at Butcher Shop, 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, 85th and Andremat, and 168th and Maple up there in the O. Obviously, about 48 hours or a little bit over 48 hours. Let's say 56 hours because we love that number. After the Huskers got their first bowl victory, you got our nemesis, Iowa, 3 points ahead of Missouri, as Coach Osborne.
Another nemesis.
And that's that's the fight of the two cousins that you don't like, and both of them breast stink. It is literally, because when we were in the Big 12, Missouri fans were not the best, and Iowa fans are not the best either. So they're battling it out. But more importantly, Nebraska was able to go out to New York City.
So is it all of the relatives who were black and gold that we have issue with?
Yeah.
Pretty much all
right.
It's Colorado, Missouri, Iowa.
Yeah, and they're all the same.
Army just doesn't know it yet.
Army doesn't know yet, but they about to get these hands.
Army
keep winning.
Army,
keep winning.
Army gets a pass. They get a pass. And you know what? Before we get into Nebraska, they were I was very impressed by Army. Had a magical year this year. So, big shout out to them because they aren't able to obviously recruit and do everything, with, full arsenal, because obviously they have bigger and more important things that they actually do for the betterment of the country. And so,
I have to give you credit for actually saying something positive on record in public about BYU. I'm not sure my body was
I have
ready.
no problem with BYU. I have a problem with Provo.
Yeah.
The college and the football team.
Yeah, the fact that you could separate them is
you gotta be.
It is
You
the
got
level
to.
of Jay Foreman emotional maturity that I was not like. It is the standard for 2025 now.
No, I mean I've always been, I've always not been. I've been able to separate reality versus what I do and don't like. And
yeah,
I will tell you this: everybody that I've talked to, I have a friend that lives in Utah.
Well, you had family that lived there,
yeah, my brother went and left quick. And it's something that he don't even. If I ever want to get in his head, I just talk about it when he was at Weber State. That shut him up real quick. And he's a doctor, so you ain't that smart. And anyways,
did he pave the trail for Dame?
Maybe, but I doubt it. I mean, my brother was in it. That was a quick.
Weber is in Ogden, Utah, and I don't know that there is a comparable city in Nebraska to Ogden, Utah.
Yeah, it's Columbus, Nebraska. No, shout out to Columbus.
Okay, I'm going to accept your.
Norfolk, and it's just different, And but anyways, I mean, BYU was very impressive. And that's what you get in these bowl games. You had the Texas Tech Arkansas game, obviously, gained notoriety for the wrong reasons, but more importantly, Nebraska was able to go out there and represent. And we talked about it all week, or a few times we were able to be on. We talked about it in the pregame show. Look, man, and it was a maturity game to see if some guys that were getting promoted into more extensive playing time were able to, work hard at least when they were here and during those 15 practices, and then go out there and show and prove. And for the most part, they did. I think, look, when you play in that type of field conditions and stuff like that, it's not going to be like a pretty game. But I think that one thing that I picked up on was, especially for the Nebraska's offense and Dylan, Coach Holgorsen felt very comfortable with him playing pitch and catch and the short and intermediate, passing routes, and the different schematic in route trees and rhythm of the offense allowed them to be pretty efficient. It seemed like they could, until they could get the running game going consistently, they could really play pitch and catch. And that's what was probably most impressive, along with the defense holding their head above water and giving the offense plenty of chances.
A couple deep shots to Jamal Banks, but otherwise it was simple, quick rhythm throws and easy reads. Lots of running backs, lots of the tight ends. I mean, 3 tight ends have a catch. Fidoni's the leading receiver by catches on the day.
Yeah.
And we haven't always seen that from Nebraska, putting quarterbacks in position to succeed, right? You think about Adrian Martinez in his Superman routine, and Casey Thompson in the deep ball year to Trey Palmer. We haven't seen Nebraska offensive coordinators put their quarterbacks in those simple, you don't go broke taking a profit sort of situations. Saw a lot of that against Boston College.
I said, as soon as the final gun happened, in the Pinstripe Bowl, I said that I was not going to speak negatively about that game or the Huskers for the rest of the year, on purpose.
Of 2024?
Yeah. Because
they won. You can't say nothing negative.
Well, but we have the rules, right? You celebrate for 24 hours, and you take lessons from, but the lessons go forever.
Yeah.
So we'll get to, once the polish has worn off the shoes, we'll get back to business, right? That next thing. But I think the program and the fans deserve a sabbatical. Like there's some healing that needs to happen, at least in my mind.
From when?
Well, from
they
8 years of not winning.
You better be around. You better soak this up,
right?
Because
right.
The way this stuff is, you don't need a sabbatical. You better dive up in it and actually you should yearn for more.
Does the work
should.
start?
And I think for me,
yeah.
If I was, now obviously everything's realistic. Obviously, the long season, you got to rest and all. You got to recover. And I'm not stupid, but for me, I'm thinking about 2025 as I was getting on the plane to the airport. And you can do both. You can celebrate the victory in I call it tangible success. And we haven't had much. Matter of fact, we haven't had any for 8 years, and we hadn't won a bowl game, I think, for 10 or 9.
It was 2015.
Right. So it's been some time. So I think when you have tangible success, even though it's not the success that we wanted, because let's be honest, 6-6 and the way the schedule set up, we could have been and should have been better, and we punched ourselves in the face, but we're able finally to recover. This was the season to me was 12, separate chapters into a book. But the year before and this year, oddly enough, you got to the same chapter. You're like, oh, here we go again. We got the same ending. They were able to get over the hump. And so you need to celebrate and understand you did have some tangible success, but then also understand this is the ceiling of the floor. This is the bottom line. And this is the like, I guess the
worst. The resetting of the standard. Right?
This is the worst case scenario.
Right?
Like all hell needs to break loose, but you still get to a ball. We've seen it. We've seen it with Mac Brown and everything like that. So it can happen. But then also you can celebrate in the moment because that's what you're supposed to do. Because you can't do anything else besides deal with that right then. But then at the same time, as you're celebrating, and yes, and you know, whether it's 75% of your brain and then 25% is all right. We got to start loading up for 2025 right now. Because if you wait, so everybody else is moving forward. You have got to be ahead of the curve because yes, this is success, but this isn't what you're going to want to repeat every year, 6-6 and go to a bowl. You want to start to, you had improvement by one game last year, or actually 2. And then you want to continue to say 2 more next year and go from there. And so, you know, look, man, it's a tricky business, the way the college football has changed. Essentially, go back to Iowa 2 years ago when, was it halftime? Everybody found out that Matt Rule was going to be hired, right? It was about probably before the game, whatever. The way college football was then. And then how the program changed to get Dylan. And then the expectations. And then now NIL and everything is and then now you know that not only the 105 is coming, but I'm here to tell you right now, you need to start planning for the future as if that when the NFL cut down all those rookie contracts so you couldn't be the highest paid rookie like it used to be way ago, and they went to the rookie cap, you about to have that too. So you got to start planning right now for that. You got to start recruiting right now for that. When you start doing these things, you got to, with that in mind, and if you just shut it down for 2 weeks, well, 2 weeks and something else will change. So that's why you got to get like not turn the page, still celebrate it, but we got work to do.
Two questions that I want to let you marinate on for the break. One, is it easier to coach after your team has won a game poorly, or 2, lost a game and played well? Oof. Right. What's right? Which is the toughest?
Dang, it's New Year's. You ain't giving us no layup.
Well, no, man. But
he ain't even throwing all of you. he was it Lob City with Chris Paul?
Yeah.
He said, "Get it on your own."
Well, here's the easier one. We can say that for 5. We can say that for 5 o'clock. But
right.
here's the one. Here's the one that I wanted to. Here's the layup. That the story comes out of Florida State.
Oof.
And
that's my boy too, man.
I love me some Leonard. Like,
that's
love me some Leonard,
too, man.
But again,
and that's your boy saying that,
right? The youngest 70-year-old in history of humans.
And my man Larry Nager left too.
Right. So
there's
that
something in the water.
Right. That if that this is what appears to be, what happens next is way more important because now being held to contract in those negotiations. Oh, Jay Foreman.
Hey. But somebody's got to step in though.
Oh,
because it started with Florida Gators.
Of course, Florida's messing up everything.
Well, it started with the Rashada. Well, it started with Rashada.
Of course,
which was Florida and Miami.
Yeah, but it
started with Florida.
The state of Florida. Just saw it off, man. Saw it off. Let
Bugs Bunny try.
But he tried. Bugs Bunny was a genius. The man was a prophet.
That's gator manure and it's gator manure in the water. Anyways, we'll take a quick break. I'll answer both those questions. But dang, I read that about first I was in shock with Larry Nager. I like him. But got my man Leonard. Man, I used to cop a lot of stuff he did. Anyways, Jay Foreman, DP Austin. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 31st is 30% off on Smithy pans. The Mercado is closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and it wishes you and yours a very happy holidays. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Hey there, fellas. It's your girl Jordan with Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Allow me to get a bit sappy. For women, jewelry isn't just a gift. It's a timeless symbol of love and appreciation. You have to get this right. No fleeting trends or gadgets will make the impact. Every time she wears it, every time she gets a compliment, you win. Trust me, guys. You'll get your money worth. Until next time, this is Jordan at Sartor Heyman Jewelry. Happy shopping, guys.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street.
Are you a skilled mechanic looking for your next big opportunity? Constructors is hiring. We're looking for experienced mechanics to join our family-owned team. We offer competitive wages, great benefits, brand new service trucks, OEM-level diagnostic software, and career growth opportunities. Positions include lead and A-level mechanics for our shop and multiple field technicians. If you're driven and ready to grow with a company that's been around since 1908, apply today at constructorslincoln.com.
You're working out, eating right, living a healthy lifestyle, but your energy sucks. This could be a sign of low testosterone. Where do you turn for help? The answer is Limitless Male, the #1 testosterone clinic for men in the Midwest. Start by scheduling your free consult at one of our 13 clinics. If low T is the diagnosis, a custom treatment plan will get your energy back on track. What are you waiting for? Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Wrestling fans, it's time to elevate your game, just like Stevens & Smith Construction does for your concrete needs. As your full-service concrete contractor, we deliver solid results every time. From singles to doubles, fighting for inside position to scrambling reversals, we know how to pin down quality and slam expectations. Stevens & Smith Construction, a proud sponsor of Takedown Tuesdays on 93.7 The Ticket, where Husker wrestlers bring you all the action. Don't stall. Stevens & Smith Construction is here to help you build a concrete foundation for the win. Check us out at www.stevensandsmith.com because stalling is a penalty and winning is the only option.
In every office, there's 2 types of people. There are those who bring in bagels and those who eat the bagels that someone else brought in. Everybody likes the first person. Be that first person. Weekday mornings at 7:30, you have a chance to win a business box of bagels from Bagels & Joe. All you have to do is shut up, Sipple. 2 questions for you, 2 for Sip. Win, and the bagels are yours. Lose, well, you don't want to lose.
You lost Monday, you lost Wednesday, you're a loser.
Shut up, Sipple. Weekday mornings at 7:30, brought to you by Bagels & Joe.
At Farm Bureau Financial Services, we strive to provide you with the right coverages for all your insurance needs by taking the time to meet with you and review what coverages best fit your needs. So whether you're in the market for home, auto, farm, business, life, or a combination of any of these coverages, we can help with making sure you, your family, or your business have the right coverage based on your individual needs. If you would like to review your insurance needs, please contact Ben Spurt with Farm Bureau Financial Services at 402-217-9945 or through email at ben.spurt@fbfs.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up, we're back. Jay Foreman, DP, Austin Norman, second segment back on time. A lot of stuff going on. Real quick, whether it's easy to coach after, I guess, a lucky victory or an ugly victory or a good loss when you play well. I don't know. I think it's based on who the player is and the team. I think the standard should be as long as we play good, the numbers will end up, as long as we play good, the wins and losses will be more in our favor, what we want, versus kind of lucking up and backdooring your way into, because that's where you can you see it all the time in the NFL. Team wins 10 games and one score games. Next year they're 3-13 or 3-14 now.
My gut tells me it's probably easier to coach a young team after a loss and an older team after a win, right? Young guys like, oh, we lost. Some of them, that's where their mind stops. We lost. We got to get better. I would think an older, more veteran team would say, yeah, we won, but we know that's not up to our standards. It's a chance for us to refocus, recommit, maybe.
Yeah, and I think it's more of a. I don't think it's an age thing. I think it's a maturity thing. If you got a really immature team that doesn't even understand what it takes to win, you just trying to
good luck.
You're just trying to win at any form or fashion because you'll get their attentions because a lot of times these kids these days like they're back patted and their belly rubbed. And then I think if you have a more mature team that understands what a standard is and the work that's went into winning in the past and what the expectations are, then I think it's probably easier to say, okay, look, we played good. We came up short. Matter of fact, let's just be honest. They were better than us yesterday. That doesn't mean that we were horrible. We just weren't good enough. But this is how we're going to make it up. Then they're probably yearning for that more. But when you're trying to talk to an immature team, they're just hearing you and they're not listening. So it's a catch-22 and it's hard. But I think, for where Nebraska's at, I guess a reference, I think when you hadn't won and showing the ability to find out how to, or showing the ability to win a game, even though it's not your best look and you pretty much had it in hand except for the last, I don't know what it was, 5.5 minutes, whatever it is. And then we're able to kind of recover and did let the Avalanche fully, gain momentum and crush your little town at the end of the bottom of the ski slope. There is a ton of positivity for that, but it's also a good teaching tape in both factors. One, we won. And this is what we did to win, even though when it's not pretty. But then also you can really, really hyper focus on whenever you got over your skis or that, time period when you lost the domination. And so I think it can work both ways, but it's also, you just got to make sure, the culture and the standard is what it is. The worst thing I will tell you this for going into 2025 is you cannot compromise in culture. You cannot compromise. That's probably one of the things they should be no compromise. And that goes all around. You just can't compromise. That doesn't mean you're dictating or anything like that and all that stuff. Like if you're trying to do all that, that's you wasting a lot of time. Just compromise. You can't. If you have goals and aspirations, you can't compromise those.
But in that is the real battle for most programs, most leaders. It's trying to figure out standard versus the absolute. Right?
Yeah, and it's always moving too.
Right.
Yeah.
Especially, well, it's moving if the program is not where you want it to be. If it has an apex yet.
You can
at the top. Saban's issue with Alabama in the final run was that standard can't be lowered from there. I would imagine Coach Osborne had some issue with that as well. That there's certain things that at your best you demand.
Yeah. Well, you demand it all. I think the one thing that Nick Saban really did, and this is where it kind of like cementing him as the best of all time, especially at the college level. That he never compromised, he adjusted. And the great ones adjust. Coach Osborne had to adjust, going from that 5-2 defense or whatever it was to a 4-3, a different type of 4-3 defense. And that's what you have to do. You cannot compromise, though.
You can compromise without becoming compromised.
Yeah, you can. Yeah, I mean,
well, if you're adjusting and changing your level and location. So if you're moving up, forward and up, then you adjust.
Yeah, and if
don't
you gotta,
adjust to go down.
Yeah, or don't what Nebraska did whenever it was 20-some years ago, compromise or adjust whatever word you want to do it because of what USC was doing halfway across the country in a totally different environment that had nothing to do with you. That's what you can't do. You can't just say, okay, well, I'm just going to just blow everything up. You can't be like that sometimes when we had a past coach like saying, oh, we just got to keep doing what we were doing and it wasn't working. But you have to adjust what you're doing to either keep up with what's going on in your conference or what's going on with your team and or to obviously continue to get better. I mean, if you want to look at Illinois with Brett Bielema, what he said he had to do was go around, and what he did when he went from Arkansas to obviously eventually Illinois was learn more about the RPO game and the passing game to go along with what his bread and butter is obviously lining up and punch you dead in the face and trying to, be Iowa of the Illinois.
So it becomes apparent, think Bear Bryant, Alabama, certain cultural things that you're going to hold to, certain standards, and then you go to Rose Bowl. Go to Rose Bowl.
We need some of them brothers over there. Yeah,
it was like
or like when Kentucky played, was it North Texas?
Yeah, when they went down and played
or
Texas
they played
State or
Texas
whoever.
State in the NCAA championship. I mean, that's obviously the biggest adjustment. But I think with Nebraska, they gotta just continue along the process and
What's
improve.
The Jackie Robinson thing, right? The evolution of the game from a forward game to a speed game, then the evolution back to a power game in the Bash Bro days, in the Bonds, McGuire, Sosa era, and then going, listen, we went too far. Let's go back to normal head size and a good number of home runs. We don't have to have all the home runs, but we can have a good number of home runs. Let's go away from the Bob Gibson dominated under 1 ERA baseball to the other extreme spectrum of the microwavable baseballs that fly out everywhere to somewhere inside the spectrum that works for more people.
Yeah, I mean, if you want an example of in the NFL level, you can go look at my Buffalo Bills. You go from essentially last year in the 4 years prior, Josh Allen in Diggs, and that was it.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Well, then now they have a thing where I think they have 13 guys in the offense side of the ball that caught a touchdown. And so it's like, now it's spread out, and it looks like their offense, well, it doesn't look like their offense is way more consistent than it has been in years past. I mean, I think they are one game away, or maybe have the NFL all-time record of most games in a season of 30-plus points. So that's just an adjustment, and that's adjustment in maybe mindset, maybe you could say standard or whatever it was, or an idea of what you're trying to do to accomplish your own, or the ultimate goal. And kind of depends on where you're at the program. But as far as where Nebraska's at, I think you got to continue to build, and then you got to really, find out where what you want to do in this day and age of college, football. I mean, right now it's going to come down to like 55 to 60 guys. I mean, you're going to have 105, and I'm going to be willing to bet not every team fills 105. Because I truly don't believe there's 105 good football players out there on every team. I've watched it too much. Number one, guys ain't dedicated enough. Number two, they ain't coached good enough at the lower levels. Number three,
so your championship teams, were they deeper? They went further down the roster with good players, or was the upper level talent that much better?
No,
we went deeper with great players.
We were deeper with great players. I mean, but this a different time. We couldn't go anywhere. You got to think, Amon Green was like not starting. Guys like that. I mean, we had our third or fourth running backs would have probably went to Iowa State and Iowa and been all conference in whatever conference they would have been at. So right now, I just think it's going to be interesting how people approach it, how NIL or the collectives work alongside with the salary cap, and it's going to shape then it's going to sprinkle down to football. You got to be very efficient in how you evaluate. I mean, you have got to be able to evaluate.
So do you think for college football moving forward, the deeper teams that don't have a drop-off might be better in the regular season, but it's still going to be star power that wins out in the college football playoff in the postseason?
Yeah, and then also I think what's going to really help out is whatever team, the deeper teams obviously will be able to have that. I don't think you're going to get the 10, 15-year run Alabama had with Nick Saban. I think it's going to be, a big long run will be 3 to 5 years, and that's going to be 2-3 quarterbacks.
Yeah, it's a rotation of players. It happens at the high school level.
Right.
Where if you get
a good class or two.
You get a great player, and then you get a very good player, and they come in at the same time, you're covered.
Yeah.
Or if you get a sophomore that's A level, a freshman that comes in that's A level, your program is going to be good. That's a 5-year run.
Right. And the guys that around them know how to play with good players.
Yeah.
And a lot of times you might see that maybe in the little, like not the smaller towns and, Class B, Class C, because, they don't have, they can't go to 4 different schools.
What does it mean? But what does it mean when a Power 4 says to South Dakota State, North Dakota, hey, we need your coaches and your players?
Well,
what does that, what does that mean?
Washington State don't count because they just out in the abyss. But what it tells you is these coaches, this is, first of all, it goes back to Bruce Arians, and you better give Deion Sanders the credit to this, because what he's done, he's opened the doors for these Power 4 schools not to turn their nose up at lower level or perceived at lower level football schools and coaches. So, whether it's Deion going to Jackson State, going up to Colorado, whether it's Eddie George and Deshaun Jackson now obviously you had Ed Reed for a quick second. You have all these guys that are former players. Are they like, oh, you need to go coach high school before you can come? No. They want football minds. Now
Did we miss the layup in the great story of this thing, that the number 1 and number 3 players in all of college football were playing outside of the Power 4?
At one point, but it's
right.
It's hard. That's not. I mean, yes and no, but you got your 2 sons. I mean, that's just kind of
your 2 sons, and then let's just throw Boise State into the conversation. That a lot of the scouts, a lot of coaches, a lot of recruiters missed on 4 players that should have been in the Power 4 at an elite program.
Well, they could have.
Yeah,
they could have. And then I think Genty, he was his dad was an Army brat, so he wasn't even here for majority of the times that you would get on the map. And then so when you look at Washington State, that now they're more open to see, okay, look, that dude's a good coach. I like what they're doing. He runs a good program. He developed players. You start to see South Dakota State guys get drafted. So
their quarterback's the next one.
Yeah, exactly. So then it's like, okay, well, you can play, and there's not a big difference anymore. There isn't.
Yeah.
There isn't, because of the networks and the development. South Dakota State's facilities are pretty sweet. So I mean, it's going to happen more often. And so big shout out to them. And we got an announcement here got another guy in the portal from the Huskers. We're going to take a quick break, come back way into some of your texts. But then obviously we'll deal with Jaylen Lloyd going into the portal. Jay Foreman, DP, Austin. We'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and Jay on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com. 93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Brought to you by Bryant Air Conditioning, Heating, Electrical, and Plumbing.
Your Lincoln forecast for today: fog and drizzle expected throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies with a high around 47. Tonight, mainly clear, but patchy fog possible. Low near 30. And tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning and mainly sunny for the afternoon. We'll see a high around 52. I'm meteorologist Kyle Flecker from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Looking to upgrade your equipment? Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer in Nebraska and northern Kansas, has an offer you don't want to miss. Through December, purchase a model year 2022, 23, or 24 tractor, combine, or sprayer, and take advantage of financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months. That's right. Get the equipment you need with affordable payments designed to keep your operation running strong. Stop by your local Landmark Implement today or visit landmarkimp.com to learn more. Experience the Landmark difference.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street.
This is Trooper Keith Bell of the Nebraska State Patrol. The holiday season is here, and Nebraskans will be traveling near and far. This time of year is wonderful for spending time with family, but it takes safe roadways to make sure every seat is filled at the family table. As you gather during the holidays, always make sure to have a sober driver if your celebrations involve alcohol. Together, let's make the holiday season bright for families across Nebraska. Thank you and drive safely.
This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol, the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall at Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-585-8255 888-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 31st is 30% off on Smithy pans. The Mercado is closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and it wishes you and yours a very happy holidays. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, DP Austin. Quick segment here. Somebody asked me who's the baddest dude I faced in the NFL. I don't know, man. I mean, I always talk about Kevin Gogan when he he hit me in my ribcage and dropped me. But there's plenty of bad dudes, man. I mean, it was just the era of you better be ready to go. There was no weeks off. But I'm gonna tell you what, Dan Marino and Brett Favre, we played them the week after, there was articles in their home papers questioning whether they were still viable. I remember on Monday night, we ended up winning the game. Dan Marino, we went into halftime, 21-24, 275 yards, and we were playing blanket defense. He was in the zone. Same with Brett Favre. Now, we end up winning those games, but sometimes in the NFL, when you're playing, you just can't stop them. So, other Tater here texted in, and we knew it before we went on air. We were gonna get into it, but I guess we'll do it now. Tater, Jaylen Lloyd has officially went into the portal. Omaha Westside product. It was at Central before he went to Westside. Obviously, really, really good track athlete before he eventually took off. Well, he's still a great track, but football. So that's disappointing. Maybe he's gonna go in and see what he can find, and then maybe come back out. I think he still has a lot of growth on the football field, and I think he's a tough kid. Matter of fact, I know he's a tough kid. I know he has a great set of parents. I think he still has untapped potential. I like that he ran track, and he's individually motivated and competitive, and he's phenomenal at track. But that actually validates what I'm saying here is that there's so much more football left in him, because he's never, when you run track, this is from my perspective, I might be wrong, but I just know, say whether it's Malachi too, when you're running these sprints and doing these jumps, you can't be at your football weight. Now they might be able to do it, but you're not training like a football player. So you got to think, when you're trying to get better at football, and if he starts to just solely focus on football, you're gonna see him take off. Because listen, we've seen him make 50-50 catches at 5'10", 5'11". He's tough. I think he's really, really green and learning playing the position of wide receiver, because I think he got started a little bit late in the high school deal. I think he's going to be he's got a great bright future, and he's a great kid. I like that kid.
You definitely saw the potential. the football track thing was interesting, but never really worked out to its max. And again, we don't want to discourage student athletes from doing multiple sports, especially in high school as you get into college. My question for 2025 is, who's the deep threat? Right? That's what Jaylen Lloyd really brought to the table, and I think could have brought to the table. They used Barney downfield a little bit, maybe not his strong suit. Key's a big guy, but not necessarily more Jamal Banks mold, I think, than a true burner. Same with Isaiah Hunter. Nebraska needs that true vertical threat, I think, to stretch the field. I think Jaylen Lloyd was going to be their best opportunity for that, and now that's another question mark.
Yeah, I think Hunter can run for real. Like, he can run for real. I mean, that's a missing part. But I think how you open up those shots, obviously, is obviously being able to play action and run past guys and stuff like that. And being a good deep ball player is just more than speed. It's setting up the routes, it's the timing of the calls and situation and all that.
It's learning football.
It's learning football. But I also think he's better than just running deep, though.
Oh, for sure.
And I think as he gets better as a route runner, he's one of the guys that was funny when he came out of high school. You could have flipped the coin of whether he was going to play defensive back or wide receiver. And the thing is, for a track guy, he didn't play like a track guy. We've had guys that were really, really fast when I played, couldn't run, couldn't stop for nothing. All they could do is just run fast. You see guys like that all the time, but he was able to do so. So, hopefully he doesn't stay in there too long.
Some of this is compatibility with the system and the play call, right? What you're being asked to do. We watched an entire season of Husker football offensively, trying to extend the field with a variety of players, and none of them really seemed to click at the level that we would hope. In finding somebody with Dylan's arm, being able to break one and take, instead of the 12-yard route, turn it into a 60-yard route.
Yeah.
Or somebody who can get vertical out of third in a one-to-one coverage.
Yeah.
And some of that's personality profile, right? Some of that is just dog. It's just dog that I refuse to be manhandled on the outer third by somebody that weighs 180 pounds, right?
Yeah.
That listen, I'm going to take a flag. You put your hands on me. Some of that depends on the people. And I think for Jaylen, 19 catches is, if we had said before the season that that's the number of catches, we would all shake our head and wonder, okay, several things didn't happen.
Yeah.
So, sometimes it's compatible. Sometimes it's mutual, that in the best space for it. Everybody rooting for Jaylen Lloyd makes sense. The idea is that these young receivers that have all left, now, as Austin said, leaves more questions. And we're in that time where questions will be asked.
Well, yeah, I mean, it's a time. You got to be also realistic that, you got a new wide receiver coach, so he might have a different idea. Like, I've been on it. I had a coach that didn't want to play me, but I was probably just too good. He couldn't, right? I probably wasn't ideally, aesthetically what he wanted, and that's just the way it goes. I mean, I remember being in the NFL, being a free agent, and Nick Saban was like, I like my inside linebacker 6'4". I was like, well, dude, like, nice seeing you again. I mean, you knew what I was before I got on the plane, but I like the trip. I'll take the Joe Stone crab with you instead when I came down here. That's cool. It's worth the trip. And so I think a little bit of that there, and then, probably seeing what else is out there also. But then, throwing it deep is not just on them. See, it's a timing thing.
Mm-hmm.
And, there's stuff to work on. And as much as Jaylen can improve, everybody else has to improve. And it's different because you have one drastically different offensive play caller, I think, now. The same plays that calls them a lot different. And ideally, what you want is a little bit different.
Great news in that Missouri finished off the game against Iowa.
Dang.
You want to know how they did it?
Oh, it's spectacular.
Yes.
56-yard field goal.
Oh.
To take the lead with like a minute, 2.5 minutes to go.
Uh-huh.
Or 3.5 minutes to go.
Yeah.
Iowa drive, gets stopped. They punt it. Missouri gets to its own 29-yard line, 4th and 1, decides to punt. Dude shanks it. Shanks the punt. Iowa takes over at its own 45-yard line. Sack on first down for 13 yards. They get back to 4th and 1. They line up to tush push, quarterback sneak it. Missouri guy goes Troy Polamalu, makes Sullivan cut left. Linebacker scoops in around the outside, 4th down stop. 2 kneels down. Business.
Oh, dang. That's
got
hurt, man.
Shame to see it.
Hey, Robert De
Sad
Niro
to see
2.0. That's a long trip back to Iowa City.
Sad to see.
Hey, but you got to give a shout out to Mr. Stand on Business, though.
Yeah.
Because he said that he still had enough belief that they should be in the college football playoffs. And Missouri won 10 games this year. Might be the funniest post-game handshake to Josh Heupel of all time. Anyways, Jay Foreman, DP Austin. We'll be right back.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com.
On the internet.
KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket. You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
At Action Plumbing, Heating, AC, and Electrical, we're ready, reliable, and recommended. Water heater acting up or your sump pump on the fritz? Call Action. Summer's around the corner. Is your AC working? Are you sure? Call Action. Electrical problems? I'm telling you, call Action. Call Action for a free same-day estimate or a trusted second opinion. You heard that right, a free same-day estimate. 402-423-6960. ActionLincoln.com.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
The Mill Coffee and Tea, formerly with only 4 Lincoln locations, now 5 Lincoln locations. That's 25% more locations than there used to be. Can you even imagine a world where there's only 4 Lincoln Mill locations? That feels like ages ago. We were all so young then. The Mill on 11th, located right alongside the 93.7 The Ticket Studios on O Street.
Have you been injured in an accident and don't know where to turn? You need an attorney you can trust to handle your case with professionalism and compassion. The attorneys at Liberty Law Group understand that a call to an attorney is a call for help. If you've been injured, we want to help you. Liberty Law's experienced attorneys are committed to the pursuit of justice for those injured. Call Liberty Law and find out how we can help you get the compensation you deserve. Call 877-42-LIBERTY. Call the trial attorneys you can trust. 877-42-LIBERTY.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 31st is 30% off on Smithy pans. The Mercado is closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and it wishes you and yours a very happy holidays. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Looking to upgrade your equipment? Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer in Nebraska and northern Kansas, has an offer you don't want to miss. Through December, purchase a model year 2022, 23, or 24 tractor, combine, or sprayer, and take advantage of financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months. That's right. Get the equipment you need with affordable payments designed to keep your operation running strong. Stop by your local Landmark Implement today or visit landmarkimp.com to learn more. Experience the Landmark difference.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Start your New Year's Eve celebrations with the Lincoln Stars when they host the Omaha Lancers on Tuesday, December 31st at the Icebox. The puck drops at 6:05 for our first home rivalry matchup of the season, giving you plenty of time to cheer on the Stars before ringing in the new year. You can purchase single game tickets or a rivalry package to secure seats for 3 home matchups with Omaha now at LincolnStars.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Coming at you live from the heart of Lincoln, America. This is Old School, sponsored by the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. Broadcasting veteran Derek Pearson.
When you find something that moves them, that makes them smile, celebrate it. That's your task. That's your superpower.
Nebraska Football Hall of Famer Jay Foreman.
Rifles a pass. It was tipped. It's picked off by Foreman. He's at the 15, 10, 5. He'll score!
On 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
5 o'clock hour, Jay Foreman, DP Austin Orman, Old School. We're brought to you by the Mercado. We are coming at you live from 1040 O Street. It's starting to get dark, like DP said, and Austin obviously said as well. Missouri Tigers were able to the Iowa Hawkeyes. There's no better feeling than that, is that Iowa lost the same way as like a walk-off, and they couldn't get a yard. Big bad Iowa, and you can't say that Caleb Johnson won there because Mooten is a pretty good young freshman, and they tried to do tush push, and it didn't work out so well. And so they're going to have a little bit longer offseason. It's different, look, you got to think Nebraska 7-6, they're 8-5. So Iowa's their offseason is a little bit different, and there's as we talk about this, and obviously we'll dive into the college football playoffs because now you're within 24 hours. You got some teams that hadn't been there before. They're doing a lot of wolfing, and we're going to talk about that. But DP, as a coach, what I want your perspective now. You asked me. I want your perspective as whether you're Kurt Ferentz or Matt Rule or any team like that. Mm-hmm. How much do you focus, if I'm Iowa, let's just take Iowa, mm-hmm. and how you lost. More importantly, being realistic, right? Like you said, how you played against Nebraska and then how you lost here. You got to think, you won one of them last 2 games, but it can't feel like you like
not the same.
Right. It's not the same versus if you play really, really well and then play really well and just end up losing one. How do you approach that offseason as far as attacking it? Because what you could always really rely on is your excellence of execution down the stretch, and it let you down. And now you got a long, long time in a different landscape of college football, number one. Uh-huh. And number two, DP, even though you end up at 8-5 and Iowa had a chance to be actually, give me 10-3, right? They could have been 10-3.
They could have been in the place of Indiana. They could have been
in the discussion, right. And they controlled their own destiny. Now let's also, in the back of your mind, Kurt Ferentz is the new AD. Her first job, right? Correct me if I'm wrong, was to get rid of your son. And the offense hasn't been better. Now does the crosshairs, which was pretty much not on Kurt Ferentz, start to slowly but surely come at the big man.
Now it's on you. And the reality is, as a coach, if I'm coaching as me, it's a little bit different than me coaching as Kurt Ferentz. Ferentz doesn't care what anybody else thinks.
Nor should he.
Like you've built a career on, as you said, foundationally having your own standard. You will adjust, but you do not want to evolve. And there's a difference in that. But the game is evolving.
Yeah.
The game is evolving, right? That the game is evolving, the players who play it and that you rely on is evolving. Now, the question is, does the coach accept the fact that the players are evolving as well? And I'm not sure that Iowa is in a situation in the middle of the country where they really care how everybody else is evolving. I think their style of play is so paramount to their identity and who they are that we're not going to worry about it. We are who we are. That sort of arrogance ultimately catches up with you. The question is this the year that it catches up with you? I don't think they care because the checks are still good.
Yeah. And
the checks are still good.
And for Iowa, they realistically, their fans aren't ever thinking about national title. They're thinking about trying to get to
a better bowl,
the best bowl game, and be in the realistic conversation of the college football playoffs.
A better bowl.
And so that's where Kurt Ferentz has a lot of job security, Austin. But I also think this is the problem, I think, with when you get these new ADs, right? And I shouldn't say new ADs, but let's just say a younger AD that doesn't understand how Kurt Ferentz started at Iowa.
Right.
You got to think he has built this program up from the depths of hell, right? I mean, to be honest with you, he has.
Yeah.
Through some lean years, he's had multiple chances to. I know for a fact he was up for the Jacksonville Jaguars job twice, 2 separate times. Now, I don't know if that was the agent saying that and getting paid. I know his name was in the paper. There was some smoke. There was some smoke there. So, but then sometimes, when you don't have anybody with that intimate knowledge or being involved in the Big Ten or have, you know what I'm saying?
Mm-hmm.
And you're there and you're like, we're looking at Iowa. Then, Nebraska's starting to come up. Then you kind of look at Illinois and you start to look at Missouri. Like, anybody can do what he's doing, right? Anybody.
But is that the part? I think that's you hitting it on the head, is that you're talking about a program. Nebraska fans are familiar with when you start looking at your neighbor's fence, over their fence into their yard, at the flowers and the lawn, the landscaping. No. Iowa's brilliant is that they mind their own business. They are who they are.
They had been.
I'm not sure.
But old buddy is gone. He was a college football playoff president on the committee.
Yeah.
He gone.
If you said to Iowa next year, I guess this is the real question. If you say, Jay Foreman, you are now the athletic director at Iowa, is 8 wins, 8-5 good enough next year? That's really the question.
I don't know. I think it depends on how it looks.
Right? Like
how it looks. Like if I sat down with Kurt Ferentz, and I like it. I mean, you know what? I'll say this before I say what I'd say, or say what I'm going to say. Meeting him and talking to him, and I've heard because I've trained a couple kids that played for him. I came away impressed, and the way he is, the happy-go-lucky. He's kind of like the Robert De Niro. He's got that little, crap. He got that grin on him. If I was sitting, I say, all right, what's the goals? And I think you also have to be, for him, if I was talking to him, I'd be supremely respectful, right? Because we're in a partnership. We're in a deal together. So what are we going to do, or what are we trying to do? Like, just say if it's offensively, defensively with Parker there, it's just, they're going to do their thing. It don't matter. They're going to be great. So offensively, what are we going to do? And then once we have these goals, then you might look at it, depends on what it looks like from there. Because Iowa defensively, and special teams is going to be on point. And realistically, offensive line is going to be on point. You just saw the running back. He's for real. So what are we going to do? Maybe even say to accentuate that and grow on the outside in the quarterback position, and then kind of maybe look at it from there. But I can tell you, like 8-9 wins, 8-10 wins, Iowa could win 10 games and look the same if they won 8. I'm telling you. They do like the New England Patriots. They just going to play and play and play, and then it's
Yeah, I don't. One, I'm not an Iowa fan in any way, shape, or form. It just doesn't resonate with me. Style of play, type of player, all that, right? Like, it just doesn't. But I'm still respectful enough to say that I understand what they do and how they do it,
and why they do it.
You're in the middle again. You're in the middle of the country. I mean, I know you're right next to Nebraska, but you're still in the middle of the country, and you're an island unto yourself in full. Like, they really don't care what Iowa State is doing until they play them. Otherwise,
yeah,
not really. You're the cousin across the street. Okay, fine. 8 wins this season. Today is the day that Iowa questions itself. There's no other time this season that Iowa went, this ain't good. No. It was today that they went, oh, I don't like this.
Well, they did until the end. And you know what the thing about Iowa, this is the credit, your point, DP, is they're so comfortable in like what they like to do and how they win. Like I said, they are static at 10. They're static at 8. This only resonate for about 48 hours. This won't boil over into the offseason because that's just who they are. They are comfortable showing up funky to a wedding reception, to a graduation party.
Yeah.
And but I'm telling you, they're gonna come in there and drink all the beer.
That's Iowa State fans. Iowa State's the crazy one.
And they're not upset. Like I can't imagine.
But I would think they look good though.
They do think that.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, 8-5.
Yeah.
It is interesting to what DP's saying too about looking over the fence. I think depending on your perspective, it's to their credit or their detriment to whatever degree, because I think from the outside, perspective at Nebraska, where we have national championship, I say we very loosely, Nebraska has won national championships and Iowa hasn't. It's easy for Nebraska fans to say, why aren't you aiming for a national championship? Why can't you think higher than that?
Or why are you talking?
Why are you talking?
Like, why are you talking? Like, what?
Right. But if that's, again, Iowa will tell you that's what they want. They're in pursuit of it, but their actions will tell you otherwise. They're more concerned about winning the Big Ten, making their own lawn look good, not looking over the other neighbor's lawn. If they win the Big Ten, if they're in contention in the Big Ten, that probably means more to them in the Big Ten circle than any respect nationally does. I'm a Kansas City Royals fan where they have been so behind the ball with pitching and analytics and all this stuff. You see the Dodgers and the Tigers and the Guardians and the Rays pass the Royals because they're so backwards. Hasn't worked for the Royals, and that's where it's, you're a Luddite, you're behind, you're not adapting with the times. But to Kirk Ferentz's credit, they're still making bowl games. It seems to be enough for that fan base and for leadership. So are we supposed to judge Iowa by our standard or judge Iowa by the standard that they tell us they want to be judged by?
Look, I don't think they're judging themselves, quite frankly.
No, and I think it's a catch-22 is a little bit of Kirk Ferentz is obviously he's doing a great job, and obviously he's created a ton of job security. I'd probably, if I had to question how good do you really want to get when you don't actively recruit athletes and stuff to get there, that wouldn't compromise who you are. And so, look, they do a good job, man, and so forth and so on. But I want to, before we get here to the next one, because we have got to dive into my man, Leonard Hamilton. I'm reading more into this.
Uncle Leonard was out
I want
here.
a full segment on that. But before that, DP, you always worry about teams that have never been there before.
Mm-hmm.
And when you got two things like this, and I'm just going to focus on Arizona State because I think that's going to be that's the game with the hugest spread, obviously, but then also different styles. And look, you got a blue blood in Texas and out of nowhere Arizona State team. Mm-hmm. They're all everything running back. He doesn't shy away from telling you how confident he is in himself, and he's earned it, man. I mean, this dude is he's a heck of a player. Scatterboo says this, he adds to it. He's just pretty much, he said point blank, nobody. I don't want to play anymore, but this would be an easy game to get ready. He said nobody can stop me. Now I like the confidence, right?
Yeah.
But bro, you listen.
We did this at Arizona State already.
Yeah.
Like, you do know that Arizona State football has existed before you got there, Scatterboo.
No, he don't, because
right,
I'm
like
telling you the way
you understand. Like, it's like, wait a minute, bro.
And there's nothing wrong with being confident. And you know what? And this is a catch-22. I remember we were playing, Ricky Williams. They were talking about how many times he scored. I mean, you want to be respectful, but then you sitting there like, man, I ain't no punk. And I'm sure what he's thinking. Like, they got good players. They got NFL players. They got guys that are good. They feel confident what they're doing. They probably watch Texas as Texas watch them. So I don't really look down on it, but I know it's harder to control that when you don't really have you're not known for your passing attack versus defense is going to be honed in on you. And you definitely don't want that with an inspired, Texas team that's trying to win a national championship.
This was the one that when they played Kansas State this year, he averaged 3 yards a carry. 3 against Kansas State. The defensive juggernauts, Kansas State. Those folks, the purple and silver folks. And I mean, not the championship game Kansas State folks, this year's version of K-State. And he was 25 for 73. Now, I'm willing to bet and measure that the Texas defense is aware and saw the Kansas State film. I'm willing to bet that. There's a way. And you have to remember, you are the accumulation of your best and worst performances. And I don't expect you to say that they can stop you. But I really wish that you wouldn't have to say that you don't think they can stop you.
Yeah, I mean, they're doing a lot of talking. I mean, I think you even look at their quarterback, which we saw not this year, but last year, up close and personal. Levitt, who was their quarterback, transferred in from Michigan State after, the Mel Tucker debacle, played against Nebraska and started. Definitely first of all, he was a highly rated recruit, is a pretty decent prospect, or at least was last year, and obviously turned into a pretty good starter for them, beat out the likes of Jeff Sims, etc., former Husker anyways. He's up there taking shots at Quinn Ewers. He says that, he's like, it's time for him to get out here and show everybody, proving why he's the better quarterback. See, that's where I think they're losing themselves right now.
Is that the Cignetti immaturity thing on display?
It's an immaturity because you're worried about what, like, Skadaboo and you're already good players, right? You're already good players. Like, you are good. You are a good player. You already played 13 games already. Like, everybody knows you good, so you ain't got to tell them. See, now you're up here talking about you're trying to prove how good you are versus Quinn Ewers. What Quinn Ewers does or what people think about him ain't got nothing to do with you. He's older than you.
And he's been under the microscope already, bro. Like you.
But I'm just saying, you just
we
knew
just
on the
met
block.
you, Scatterboo. Like, come on, we just met you.
And Scatterboo talking about nobody stopped him, and that's great. I mean, because you want to have that confidence, but ultimately, if your mindset is going in there to try to prove something to somebody else versus prove yourself and your teammates right, the focus is wrong.
Now, mind you, let's be clear. I'm rooting for him to run for 250 yards against Texas.
No problem.
Oh, let's be clear.
He can go 298.
I'm perfectly good that he has such a day that he creates new dances in the end zone because he's worn out the old ones against Texas.
Or
I need a new dance from Scatterboo. We're a dance called the Scatterboo.
Yeah. or you can just in there he a big old weightlifter. He can just flex his muscles, man. He's Mike Allstat 2.0.
Right.
I hope he does well. I just worry about
get him.
Things happen so fast for Arizona State. And we talked about this DP with Colorado and BYU during the crossover stretch.
Mm-hmm.
And Colorado is obviously more seasoned but having young players that have never been there, obviously them young guys didn't know what the heck they was getting into, and then they were dealing with the pain of regret and getting embarrassed. Whereas you got these guys hadn't been here. You got to think they went 3-9, right? They got new coaches came in, and then you bring a whole bunch of guys in, and then you start to get on a run. And yeah, you went out there and beat the brakes off of Iowa State, or not beat the brakes on, but you won the Big 12, and then you got not only won the Big 12 championship, you get a bye in the college football playoffs. So now you're really been feeling yourself for the last 2.5 weeks, and then you start getting, now you're starting to get closer to the game. The excitement is there. You start to really believe in what you see in practice and all that stuff, and then you get that last little microphone put in your face, and do you think you? And to be honest, let's just be brutally honest. If you aren't saying in a roundabout way or thinking we're winning at all, you ain't got a chance to win.
Fair.
Because if you're stepping on the field on any competition and not thinking that you're the best, it ain't never gonna work. So I understand, because if somebody comes up and asks, like before we played Florida or whatever, it's like, do you think you're gonna win? I might not say, yeah, I guarantee we're gonna win. I was like, I like what we're doing. I feel, the matchup is good. We go out there and handle our business. I think we got good chances anybody to win, but so do they.
Can't wait.
So I mean,
that literally is like, it makes so much sense for him to feel that way, but don't put that on your teammates to have to explain and fight for you in a way that goes against the very intent of why you're there. This is a team that do your job,
right?
Quietly do your job. Celebrate when you win, but don't make a mess of a situation that, one, Arizona State, this is their first time there. It can't be about you. It has to be about them.
It's like what we are going to do.
Yeah.
Because you already did enough. You got 1,500 yards, 1,600 yards rushing.
Yeah.
500, fifth in the Heisman. Now I know they asked him. I think they got him cranked up because he didn't get invited to New York. Yes, you should have been upset because you there's nothing wrong with bringing 5 dudes there. He said and he had to sit at watch it with his girlfriend, and he had 2,100. Which look, man, I'm for him. You could be upset, and whatever, but ultimately that needs to be the motivation, because you can quiet as kept, keep it within yourself, and be extremely motivated, and then after the game, that's when you pop off.
Yep.
You don't need to pop off before the game. That ain't gonna do nothing.
Because everyone's gonna love you when you pop off against Texas.
Literally, the country will cheer you in a heroic sense. Matter of fact, I think Aggie fans will be at the game carrying you off the field.
Aggie fans, Red Raider fans,
right?
Bears fans,
everybody hates
Sooner
Texas
fans, Cowpoke fans.
I mean, I think they're a team that's probably playing the card of we're overlooked. Texas is favored by 11, 12 points, which they are deeming disrespectful. And so, look, they are looking at this as an ultimate competition. Now, if you say it and then you can play, within the team scheme of things, like I always say, you play individually, think collectively, then it all work itself out. But they got a big task in hand about this Texas defense. Now, I'm just telling you right now, them Texas hard hit, they're going to come hitting for real. Scott, this is not Iowa State. I'm just telling you right now, the rate of speed and the velocity that you're going to get hit, it ain't nothing you ain't never seen before, man. I'm just telling you, like these dudes are going to come to play. This is not the old Texas. This is definitely a different team. And then you got to hope your defense is able to handle up, because you could just only get 12 carries because you ain't on the field.
Yeah, I'm going to be his third biggest fan against Texas. I just wish he would allow it to happen organically. Just don't stir the pot.
Yeah. It's just interesting.
Be cute, Cinderella. Don't run your mouth.
Well, I understand that Joe Namath makes Joe Namath made a lot of money.
But there ain't no looking back now, though.
No.
Because if I'm his coach, I ain't gonna be mad at you.
No. What'd you say? I put my new shoes in the mud. This is what it's gonna be. What it's gonna be now.
I'm gonna be like speaking of BYU, I'll be like your boy Carl Malone. He said, I got a tool too. Carl Malone said, I got a belt buckle too. Let's go. Buckle up, Jack. Well, anyways, we're gonna buckle up, take a quick break, come back. We're gonna talk about the FSU college basketball fiasco and Miami as well. Their coach, who is a great coach and end up stepping away 8 games into the season. But more importantly, Leonard Hamilton and the lawsuit, what it means in the present time, but then also possibility in the future. And does that change how you do NIL? Because like if you come ask coach, I'll be like, man, I don't know what you're talking about, because I don't want to be sued for something that I potentially could say just in passing. So anyways, Jay Foreman, DP, Austin Norman, we'll be right back.
Watch Old School live on Facebook, YouTube, or Twitch. Old School with DP and Jay on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
This is Trooper Keith Bell of the Nebraska State Patrol. The holiday season is here, and Nebraskans will be traveling near and far. This time of year is wonderful for spending time with family, but it takes safe roadways to make sure every seat is filled at the family table. As you gather during the holidays, always make sure to have a sober driver if your celebrations involve alcohol. Together, let's make the holiday season bright for families across Nebraska. Thank you and drive safely.
This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol, the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
Men's health is not a game at Limitless Male. It's serious medicine. We're not a West Coast franchise with a one-size-fits-all approach. Every man is different. Some men require more or less testosterone to feel their best. At Limitless Male, we safely monitor your labs and symptoms along the way and adjust your treatment as needed. The only thing cookie-cutter about Limitless Male? The incredible results men brag about. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
League One Volleyball is bringing the action to Omaha with Omaha's first serve on January 24th at 7 p.m. Central Time at the Liberty First Credit Union Arena. Witness history in the making as Love Omaha Volleyball takes on Love Madison in the team's inaugural home match. Be there to watch Olympic teammates Jordan Larson and Lauren Carlini go head-to-head in a battle of the world's best. Visit lovboma.com for tickets starting at $31. Volleyball is the next major league. Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 31st is 30% off on Smithy pans. The Mercado is closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and it wishes you and yours a very happy holidays. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Looking to upgrade your equipment? Landmark Implement, your John Deere dealer in Nebraska and northern Kansas, has an offer you don't want to miss. Through December, purchase a model year 2022, 23, or 24 tractor, combine, or sprayer, and take advantage of financing as low as 3.9 for 60 months. That's right. Get the equipment you need with affordable payments designed to keep your operation running strong. Stop by your local Landmark Implement today or visit landmarkimp.com to learn more. Experience the Landmark difference.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Empower a child today with the Teammates Mentoring Program. Hope is only a conversation away when you choose to share your talent, time, and heart with a child. Together, you can build a relationship based on strengths and chart a brighter future, 1 week at a time. Find out how you can be a mentor by visiting LincolnTeammates.org. Become what you needed as a kid by joining the Teammates Mentoring Program today.
Start your New Year's Eve celebrations with the Lincoln Stars when they host the Omaha Lancers on Tuesday, December 31st at the Icebox. The puck drops at 6:05 for our first home rivalry matchup of the season, giving you plenty of time to cheer on the Stars before ringing in the new year. You can purchase single game tickets or a rivalry package to secure seats for 3 home matchups with Omaha now at LincolnStars.com.
Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, DP, Austin Norman, old school. Probably, what time is the basketball game tonight? 8 o'clock. Man.
8 o'clock.
Man, it's a late night. Big Ten plus Nebraska against Southern. But before we jump into that in the last segment, a little bit indirect, I guess, basketball knowledge, but this is more of a NIL and a, I guess, landmark college potential lawsuit. If you haven't heard, Leonard Hamilton, the great FSU, I think he's great, Florida State basketball coach, is being sued for over, was it $1.5 million by how many players? Six of them. About total of it.
$250,000 each.
$250,000 each. Some sort of promise that they were promised. Obviously, it wasn't in black and white, but obviously, it must have been at some point in time in a meeting. Obviously, it didn't come to fruition. They want to get their rightful payment. Obviously, it's just the initial, I guess, a lawsuit and accusation. But ultimately, we've seen this prior to this, which worked out for Rashada, the quarterback that was at Miami or committed to Miami, then committed to Florida because he got a huge deal from that. All of a sudden, that money in cars and house and everything disappeared. He was at Arizona State, he's at Arizona State now. Didn't get to meet any of the type of quality of deal that he had prior. Florida just let him out the letter of intent, but he lost them. And he turned back and sued them for kind of lost wages and opportunity.
Well, sued Napier.
Yeah, Napier. Yeah. And so this right here, obviously, it's not nothing new, but it's just now you got players are taking some things into their own hand. And if there's promises, which in this NIL landscape, coaches aren't supposed to do it. That's why you have collectives and GMs. Look, in lawsuits, players are going to sue the people that make the most money. They're not going to sue or bring a lawsuit against the third assistant coach in a basketball dude that's not making 1.5. They're going to get a guy go after him. But it's going to be interesting to see how this works, because you've seen it before where coaches are promised something, they go places and they end up getting it in from. You don't necessarily need a black and white contract. A binding contract could be an email, a text, conversation, and especially if they have some sort of confirmation of it. It's going to set forth a new path on how you negotiate with these high school players, transfer portals, or anybody on your team that wants to re-up, man. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, and it was an interesting group. I saw this particular group in person, Orlando. 2 years ago against Nebraska, and watched how Nebraska, everything seemed off, and Nebraska went down there and put it to them. I think being by 20.
Oh yeah, which
made no sense.
Made
no sense. Like to looking at them, one as a lineup, two as individual players, it didn't make sense. But then you always realize, and we keep saying this, but we have to keep reminding people, when things don't add up on the field of play, there's a reason. There's a reason. If it doesn't, if there's a disconnect between talented players, a talented coach, and it just doesn't work, there's some behind the scenes stuff going on. It always adds up. And this is the Pandora's box, because when 6 players from a Power Four tell you that they were all in on it together, and that there were adults in play who co-signed it, endorsed it, and otherwise, and then didn't complete it. The number of questions that exist about this are almost endless, because you have to say who set the amount, who approved the amount, because the players moved in, right? Started playing, went to school, stopped going to school, stopped going to practice.
In fact, threatened to walk out of a practice and a game.
Who, through all the things, who is in charge? Who ultimately is in charge in making this agreement? Because remember, Florida State and its athletic department should not have been a part of this conversation. Should not, air quotes. Then, if they were, who? And then are they legally responsible for their verbal commitments for the program? Because then the program could say, well, we take a lawsuit against you as well, because you misrepresented us. We are no longer in good standing in the recruiting base, because six 3-star and above players are saying bad things about Florida State basketball in broad daylight.
that are only happening because you didn't come through.
So, Jay.
Yeah, it's interesting, man. I mean, it's the university, they stay in pat, man. I mean, it's, they're supporting their coach from the allegations. Essentially, this thing centers around text messages between players and some between players and Hamilton. Like, that's where it's going to get a little bit tricky because, text messages and stuff can, be manipulated. But they also said this, to our knowledge, right? As an inquiry at this point, which means as of today, that means they probably have not looked.
Cover your eyes.
Right. Well, they say at this point, now they probably have to get deeper into it. At this point, we know of no unfulfilled commitments by FSU in terms of scholarships and or appropriate benefits or the Rising Spear Collective related to NIL payments owed to athletes. And so that's where it'll all tell out. Now, if there's not a contract and they're all the same, it'll be interesting to see. There's 2 players that have exhausted their whole eligibility, so they can't play anymore. Now, judging the way that happened with JUCO, you could say, you could get be a little bit different. But you got one of them is at University of Texas San Antonio, one is at Xavier, another one at South Florida, another one is redshirt at Gonzaga. Now, when you look at this FSU team, I think they had a player drafted off that team, right? Mm-hmm. Which is interesting when you lost to Nebraska. And it's also interesting now with Hamilton being 76 years old, looks like he's 56 in the last year of his contract. See, I hate it for him, especially because he's done so much for the program. And that doesn't mean if he made these promises, weren't able to fulfill it, that he's in the last year of his contract. So it makes it a little bit easier to kind of usher him out of the door. Because number one, he's 76. Number two, you got this coming up. And if it has to deal with a collective, not, taking care of their business, then when the coach isn't supposed to be directly connected with it, now he's connected with it indirectly and or directly, just sucks because of his legacy. And this is something that's going to happen all the time because you got Jaden Rashada, who's now at Georgia, actually. He sued Napier, which had nothing to do with it. And then he had $13 million in a deal. He had several Tulsa players, which led to their football coach telling you, if you want NIL, do not come here at all. Don't even think about it. And then you had that just recently during the football season, when UNLV burst on the scene. I think they were 3 or 4-0, where you had their quarterback pretty much tapping out over $100,000 NIL deal that didn't come to fruition, which was up in the air.
Can I say this? So Texter says this. We all know this was going to happen until the NCAA gets this NIL stuff figured out. It's going to be a show. Now, here's the real thing. Is this an NCAA issue or is this an individual institution or conference issue?
Oh, can this
be resolved, right? If Florida says, listen, we're just not going to do this. We're going to give scholarships and we're going to pay everybody $100,000. This is what we're going to do. And this is all we have. We're not going to negotiate. We need to find 85 players that are going to come to Florida, come to Nebraska. You'll make $250,000. We'll commit to that verbally in public, sign from a trust or whatever needs to be done. And then we're going to focus on football / basketball / baseball rather than spending all of this resource and all of this energy and all these legal findings and all of this legal liability in the stuff away from the game. Wouldn't it make so much sense? Listen, we know that 5 years ago we could have said, every member institution could have said, hey, we're going to give out 85 scholarships and we're going to pay all the athletes $20,000 a year. And everybody would have thrown confetti and been happy. And none of this would never be an issue.
Except for the guys that really were probably at that point when they weren't making anything, then they're making 20 when they were the biggest, name, image, and likeness people. That's the whole point. You should be able to benefit off your name, image, and likeness. So, there would have been few to push back. It would have been great.
Well, you can still do endorsements.
You
You can still do endorsements outside of the university. Just don't wear the red N. Don't wear the blue F and the gator and just don't wear the horns. But go make your money. But these institutions and these conferences could have said, just as simple as we sit here, hey, proactively, Jay Foreman, it's 1998. And Jay Foreman, you and the Huskers have been the example and the standard of college football. We suggest that if everybody wants to get on our page, what we're going to do is set the standard and say, we're going to give every player $10,000 and a scholarship, and then allow them to do endorsements outside of the football program, right? We're still going to wear whatever gear we wear. We're still going to show up wearing whatever we wear. But your ability to negotiate outside of that was none of their business, because it shouldn't have been.
Right, but then that's where the collective, which they were doing, and that lasted for a few months, because then, what Jeff Sims was at the taco place and stuff like that.
But that's on the taco place. That's on the grown-up, the adult, the adults in the room.
Yeah,
nobody can hold my hand to the fire and make me write an endorsement check to a student athlete.
It was just a different way to get the job done. Then everybody said, let's start paying these dudes. Let's just stop playing these games. I just think whatever it is, whatever happened, sometimes they were trying to play at a different level and stuff. I just think
I think if you're going to do it at a conference level, you better have research and data that shows you're being fair, because if you do an unspoken sort of agreement that you don't write down between athletic directors and presidents, I feel like someone would take you to court for colluding.
Well,
unless you say hey, no, we did our research. Here's what we're saying is fair value. If you want to challenge us in court, we feel good about it. Otherwise, I think that maybe I'm misunderstanding you, but doing that from Florida's perspective strikes me as the Iowa move, right?
No, they have the numbers. They've had data for as long as data has been available.
So then use it.
Every university knows what it pays per student athlete, per student, what it spends. Every high school district knows what it spends per young person. There's a number. There's a number. It shows up in state records, in national tax records. It shows up. There's a number.
But there's a difference between what you're spending on them and what they can hypothetically earn, which is what these kids are more worried about.
What they can earn is none of your business. That's
correct.
Between them and the parent and their agent. The university can set an agreement in place. And they've had an agreement in place forever, which was, mind your business, you don't get any money. Right? You colluded to do it.
Oh, yeah.
You absolutely collude. So if you can collude to take money away, you can collude to get it right. And to ultimately get it right, there is a number. There is a number. Just like tuition is a number that, is it backed by data? How much you charge per hour at a state school? No, because it's the same education if you're within state as out, but they charge you more for it. Yeah. And it's the same education. Right? And you've used some data that you've put together and spun, and none of it makes sense. The easy way would be the NFL has a plan. It sits in front of you. Listen, boundaries in play. Now, it's not perfect, but it at least eliminates all of this nonsense. And if you're the NCAA and you're Nebraska and Iowa, don't you just want to eliminate the stuff that you can eliminate? Every great program says control the controllable.
It's too far gone, though. Paying, I was thinking about paying the bottom dude the same way you're trying to pay your best dude. I just think that's just not going to work, because then
it works in every profession that exists.
Which again is the difference between the outside stuff and the university level,
right?
Stuff.
Which is
but if you're paying Tommy Frazier the same as the other dude, it's just not that's not going to work, because then if you do it by conference and just say, if I was doing it by conference, I'd just wait to the very end. Because I'm going to get all the players that I'm going to be able to pay. I'll just say, in our conference right here, we're going to pay you twice as much.
Your name when you got to Nebraska was more than the dude in front of you, because you're because of who your daddy was and the work that you put in before you got here. The foundational base for what you receive for being a football player in a Power Four is not the same as Jay Foreman's value outside of the program. And as Jay says, your greatest resume is availability and work, right? So why wouldn't he be able to go to a car dealership and get a better car than the dude that's never going to play even special teams at Nebraska? Right? Jay deserves to eat at Misty's rather than the taco place.
Right. But they're just paying you so you can go do it.
Right. Like
that's fine. They just dropped the ball, and now they're scrambling and trying to figure it out. So the cap eventually, but like I said, I'd be trying to get my stuff extended right now. Yeah. I'll be good in the future. But anyways, we're gonna take a quick break. Come back. We'll give our quick thoughts on this Southern versus Nebraska game, especially coming off of a tournament win out there in Hawaii. Jay Foreman, DP Austin. We'll be right back.
You're listening to Old School with DP and J. Download the mobile app and listen wherever you are on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Are you ready for a new opportunity? Check out Sandhills Global. Join a dynamic team where your skills are valued and your career can soar. We offer full-time positions with a 4.5-day work week, competitive pay, excellent benefits, and a positive work environment. From IT and marketing to sales and finance, we're looking for talented individuals just like you. Apply today at sandhills.jobs and take the first step towards an exciting future. That's sandhills.jobs. Don't wait, apply now.
The electrical workers of Local Union 265 are now hiring licensed journeyman electricians from $32.50 to $42.50 per hour with paid benefits. And if you're looking for a new career, they're hiring apprentices at $19.50 per hour with paid benefits. Call the office at 402-423-4497 to apply. Start your electrical career today.
93.7 The Ticket, Fox, KFXL weather. Sponsored by John Henry's Plumbing, Heating, and Air Conditioning.
Your Lincoln forecast for today, fog and drizzle expected throughout the day. Otherwise, cloudy skies with a high around 47. Tonight, mainly clear, but patchy fog possible. The low near 30. And tomorrow, patchy fog in the morning and mainly sunny for the afternoon. You'll see a high around 52. I'm meteorologist Kyle Butler from 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified Piedmontese. This week's special through December 31st is 30% off on Smithy pans. The Mercado is closed on Christmas Day and New Year's Day, and it wishes you and yours a very happy holidays. Locations at 84th and Havelock, 30th and Yankee Hill, and now 85th and Old Cheney in Lincoln, or 168th and Maple in Omaha. Get to the Mercado today for the best meat in town.
Rico here with HIS Auto Care at 70th and Van Dorn, letting you know HIS is a great place to bring your vehicle for service. With superior service, bumper to bumper, we'll treat your vehicle like it's your mother's. Doesn't get any better than that. So call 402-488-8934 and HIS Auto will make you glad you did. 5% off, mention this ad, and for sure your mother will be proud you called. 402-488-8934, HIS Auto Care, 70th and Van Dorn. God bless you.
Are you looking to upgrade or improve the garage door on your home? This is Cameron Hall of Doors Plus. At Doors Plus, we guarantee to offer a wide selection of options from 5 leading garage door manufacturers as we deliver a free estimate, exact measurements, and rapid installation with a 3 to 5 week time frame. When you choose Doors Plus for your residential garage door needs, you'll work with our experienced technicians and be ensured that your new door seamlessly complements your home. Give us a call at 402-590-5800 or visit us online at doorsplusllc.com. Doors Plus, garage doors and more.
Start your New Year's Eve celebrations with the Lincoln Stars when they host the Omaha Lancers on Tuesday, December 31st at the Icebox. The puck drops at 6:05 for our first home rivalry matchup of the season, giving you plenty of time to cheer on the Stars before ringing in the new year. You can purchase single game tickets or a rivalry package to secure seats for 3 home matchups with Omaha now at LincolnStars.com.
Men's health is not a game at Limitless Male. It's serious medicine. We're not a West Coast franchise with a one-size-fits-all approach. Every man is different. Some men require more or less testosterone to feel their best. At Limitless Male, we safely monitor your labs and symptoms along the way and adjust your treatment as needed. The only thing cookie-cutter about Limitless Male? The incredible results men brag about. Schedule your free consult at limitlessmale.com.
Hi, I'm Trooper Ty with the Nebraska State Patrol. Winter weather can create dangerous driving conditions on Nebraska roadways. It's critical that you understand the conditions before hitting the road. Nebraska's 511 system provides updates on the road conditions, road closure, live camera views from across the state, and you can even track where plows are on state highways. And if you become stranded on the road, call star 55 and we'll send a trooper to help. Thank you, and drive safe, Nebraska.
This message presented by the Nebraska State Patrol, the Nebraska Broadcasters Association, and the NDOT Highway Safety Office. Back to old school with DP and J on 93.7 The Ticket and theticketfm.com.
What up? We're back. Jay Foreman, DP Austin. Quick segment here as we move towards the tip-off. Nebraska against Southern, 8 p.m. Big Ten Plus. Obviously, it's dealing with success is obviously one of the hardest things that any program, any sport has to do. Any program, obviously, Nebraska had extreme success out there in Hawaii. Was came in as a favorite, but then obviously it's even sometimes harder to handle your business and become champion. That's what they did. Long flight back, little bit. I'm assuming some time off, and then you got to get right back at it. Obviously, you're supposed to handle business against Southern. So with that being said, what are some of the expectations that you want to see tonight on an odd, it's a Monday, it's a later start. You go and play, a pretty tough Oregon State team, and then you kind of play, and then you go play Southern. What are the expectations?
I think I said it to you. I'm pretty sure I said it to Austin, that what I noticed about Nebraska in the lobby of the resort was that they were about the business at hand. They weren't trying to be distracted. They had focus on, we came here to do a job, and the work had to be done. And they didn't get involved in all the distraction. They were social, but they weren't distracted. And I would imagine that the building has a little more juice. Now, it would have even more if it was a full-on, everybody was in town. But that's okay. They're going to have to bring their own juice tonight.
Which is good.
They're also going to have to carry momentum of the things done right. And what I know about Nate Lenzer is that he cares less about human nature, and he wants you to work at your standard, which is why I think they'll be fine tonight. I think they'll be fine. I tell you what, though, that travel landed on me yesterday morning. I slept for 12 hours for no reason. Like that.
Yeah, it's tough. I mean,
hey.
I mean, it's you pay for a vacation either financially or physically. I think, Coach Nate and the staff, they're going to set the standard, and this is a game you're going to have to coach them hard because I mean it's hard to do it. They are tired. It doesn't matter your age, you're going to be tired. It is going to affect you, but there is no excuses because you have to trick your mind and thinking like, what if I got to play, in the NCAA tournament on a Thursday, and then we got to get into the Sweet 16 on a Saturday, and I'm gonna be tired then too. So this is, the wins and the wins out of this game is more mental because physically, hopefully they'll come to play. You just want to see the continuation of building a team, roles being more defined, and maybe changing in the sense of you need maybe your bench players to step up. Maybe you need like a Jacobson and Hoiberg to come off and provide that energy to get the guys going. Or do you need like my man Raleigh to come and like he did against Oregon State, get it started and maybe continue and bring it home. So it's going to be interesting to see who steps up tonight and shows up with the maturity like they did out there in Hawaii and handle business.
Yep.
I do think Sam Hoiberg's a good call there because the building needs to feel early on like it did against Indiana. Going to be hard to get that level of juice, but you're on a pretty typical schedule, right? You played on Christmas, you played on the 25th, travel day, 2 days off, hard practice day before the game, and then here you are, you're playing again. Building needs to feel like Indiana early, right? Nebraska can't let Southern hang around. There's a little bit of me that is worried about the starters. I think there'll still be a maturity type of game if Nebraska comes out, answers a lot of questions for me. I could see it being a Sam, come in, give us a spark. Andrew Morgan, come in, give us a spark with your energy. I could see it being the case. I think if you're in Nebraska, you hope it doesn't get there because, fair or not, this is going to be your last impression for people heading into, for my money, the biggest game on Nebraska's schedule. You can't look ahead past Southern, but UCLA coming to town on Saturday is a huge game. You want the fan base to feel good about you. You want the fan base to rally and show up after football won. Football did its business. Spotlight's on you, Husker basketball down at PBA. You got a big one coming up on Saturday. give people a reason to show up and support you.
When are the students back?
They don't come back till after Martin Luther King Jr. Day.
Yeah, that's the part.
They still around though. They ain't want to stay at home that long. But yeah, I mean, this is something that you got to do. And the starters need to play good. I mean, maybe this is like where Mia gets busy.
Sure.
He's a big old strong dude. You need guys.
He can set the tone.
Right. I mean, it's a perfect game.
Berkay can have a night.
Yeah. I mean, he can do that. But a guy that hasn't been able to get off scoring wise, and Mia being that big, it's a good game for him to maybe change your way up. You start the game, try to pound it in there to soften them up a little bit, and then while other guys get going, or you see Bryce that says, you know what, I'm gonna continue what I've been doing. I was the MVP, and I'm kind of just going along and just gonna 19, 20, 30 points, and take the game into your own hands.
20 or 30. 30.
Hey.
Keep going.
Well,
come on, run it up.
You go from 9 to 30 some points. You can control the ball on a string. That's more of a mindset thing. And if he wants to score 30, young man can score 30.
I'm with that program.
So, I like it though. Appreciate you guys listening. We'll be back tomorrow. Jay Foreman, DP Austin. We'll holler at you.
This is Lincoln's home for sports talk on the FM dial. Also online at theticketfm.com. On the internet, KNTK FM Firth, 93.7 The Ticket.
Load up on meat and more this winter at the Mercado by Certified